In the lakes of Danao, Samar, Leyte, there is a mythical creature that is believed to be lurking under the stagnant waters. The people speculates that this said creature is the main reason why several locals and even tourists suddenly vanish with their bodies to never be recovered. This inconspicuous occurrence did not gain much attention until April 6, 2010. A camera model, Sea Life DC600, was found floating on the surface of the lake and was turned over to the authorities. Inside was a 32 gig SanDisk which comprised of over 8 video recordings of two men who were soon identified as Joshua Sarmiento and Allen Policarpio. Surprisingly, these men were on the list of the missing people that are currently being investigated, thus making the whole scenario an even bigger mystery. Because of this, the local authorities got alarmed and set up an investigation with a case file named Nga Wara Nga Lalaki or the Missing Men. During the investigation, the videos from the camera was continuously played to gather more evidence. In the videos, the two men can be seen as if they were filming a vlog in their escapade within Samar Leyte. Within all the 7 videos that were played, the last one was the only tape that took an oddly turn. The men stated in the video that their last location to visit was the Lake Danao, in high hopes in capturing a footage of a speculated mythical creature named Batak. This sparked allegations for the authenticity of the tape. Therefore, the police required an extensive investigation towards the case, not just to gather evidences for the missing men, but to collect information about this creature called Batak. The authorities have interviewed a lady named Linda Paloma. She is an elderly who have resided in the area for almost 60 years, and according to her, the Batak is a mythological creature who poses victims who either swims or rides canoes in the lakes of Danao. They are just not completely devoured, they are just tied underwater with their internal organs being mauled down. They are tied just to accompany the lonely Batak, resulting to its victims to have never been found. Additionally, Linda also explained the lore of the said creature. The Batak is to be believed as a man named Fidel Dumagoso. He was a lone man with an unsightly appearance, but with a kind heart. He was married to a woman who constantly abused him, which led to his even worsened condition. He became skinnier and weaker, with a long scar on the side of his neck. According to other locals, Fidel and his wife were last seen riding a canoe in the lakes of Danao, but the wife was the only one to return, thus creating a rumor that Fidel was drowned but his remains was never recovered. Several sightings continues to circulate around the area, stating that the said creature has a long scar on its neck, therefore believing that it really was indeed Fidel Dumagoso. The legend goes that if one is to ride canoes on the Lake of Danao and hears stopping underneath the boat, the Batak has its eyes on you. To prevent this, one has to shout as loudly as possible, "Lurong, subuki mo gadla," which means, "Insane fool, try me," to taunt the said creature whilst stomping on the boat as quickly as possible. This was suggested as an effective way to threaten the creature, as its presence is already known. As the case is being investigated by the local authorities, they continued to watch the ending of the last video, which recorded the two men whilst riding their canoes in the Lake of Danao. The two men can be seen chattering and teasing about when the man named Allen Policarpio suddenly stopped at motion. This startled the two as they became agile in their canoe. The men lowered themselves and with the terrified look on their faces, they heard tapping underneath their boat. The men cursed heavily as the cam was dropped on the water. As it dives down before it floated, a massive tail of a fish was vividly seen as it hit the camera's lens. But the whole creature was blurry. The camera rose on the surface and started floating. As it gruesomely captures the canoe be torn in half with the two young men who seemingly vanished from the thin air. With the help of the terrifying footage, the canoe was instantly located but only the parts of it which floated. The case of the two vloggers is still a mystery to some people, but the people near lake still believe that it was caused by a mythical creature called Batak. The bodies of the two vloggers have never been recovered, including the remains of the locals and the tourists of the area. The footage is still in the hands of the authorities and will remain as the best evidence for the creature's existence up until today. The case of the missing men shall therefore continue to remain unsolved.